Yo, what's up? I've spent the last 3 years trying to get good at Overwatch, and honestly, it's kind of driven me crazy, like it probably has to you. Today, I want to talk about why chasing improvement can really mess with your head, the problem with constantly searching to improve, and why you don't actually need to be good at Overwatch. Now, I've always had this drive, like a lot of people, to get really good at something. Even games that I know that I'm not going to actually commit that much to, I've always struggled with the idea of being bad at it, even if I am knowingly bad at it. So Valorant, League, and even like MMOs, I hated the idea of not knowing everything about it. The problem with that, even though it's a very common way of thinking, is it typically leads you to not enjoy the method of getting better, leveling up, learning new things. You tend to hate that. You hate the idea that, oh, I'm not improving and I have to put work onto it. You end up basically not enjoying playing the game because you're so fixated on the idea of being good and being the best. You sometimes have to accept that you aren't, or that you're not going to be, but you want to just improve one part over a course of time. Obviously, so much is easier said than done. I can't just tell you, hey, stop worrying about it, and then it's just going to happen. But I want you to understand that it is a very relatable and common feeling to want to be the best. Every time I play Overwatch, or I watch Overwatch content, I'm like, I wish I was in that higher lobby. Even if I know deep down it really doesn't make that much of a difference, you'll still complain about the same things. In fact, you'll have less to work towards and you'll actually probably be less motivated. But still, I want it. I for some reason do. But I don't actually have any of the crazy drive that would push someone to reach that really high rank. I'm currently sat at like Diamond 1, Masters 5 area. I mean, I haven't played much in this last week, but that kind of area is, well, like good. It's not crazy good, right? And there is definitely loads of room to improve and get better as a player. But the problem is typically at that level, you do need to actually put in a pretty good amount of work to get better. And the thing is, sometimes I and you and loads of people are just not prepared to put in that work, yet still want the result. I could come on here and I could call you delusional. I could call myself delusional for thinking that you could get the result without the work. But it is common. You play and you want to get good and you want to play at a high level, but no one's really prepared to put in that work. Anyway, that's not the point. I'm not trying to talk about work ethic and work drive at getting better. I'm just like trying to talk that it is common to want to be the better. I mean, like that is the reason everyone plays competitive games. It's why they are the most popular game type probably at the moment, at least on, you know, content scenes and Twitch and YouTube. Gaming typically revolves around these online competitive games. So I'll talk a bit about how I first initially ranked up towards Diamond all those years ago. It was because I kind of was always like this bronze tier player in Overwatch, and I don't know, I think I was just tired of the idea of being really, really bad at the game that I thought I liked a lot. And so that in itself was such a motivator just to play constantly. And look, as much as I sometimes look back at that and go, oh, to do that again, to play, 80 hours each season and to really just go for something, was probably the worst state I would have been in mentally, I think, ever. Like, I'm not even kidding. And I'm not tying that all into Overwatch, but I'm saying Overwatch reflected a mental state. I felt awful after losses, and I felt insane after wins, and I kept chasing that high and hitting that low. And right now, I've probably reached a state where it's like, I can get frustrated at a thing, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I end up shrugging things. I still get annoyed at stuff. I'm human, and the Junkrat conch mine coming out of nowhere and killing me in the air as Farah is annoying. Look, when that happens, you call bullshit on it. But like, I think there's less tying to my personal self and my rank, which is a very common thing to do. Where is this even going? I'm trying to just link the idea that all this stuff is part of the chase for improvement and is part of the reason you can decline kind of as a person and stop prioritizing things that are really, really important to you. For instance, that could be exercise and healthy eating, relationships, social relationships, gym, other hobbies and interests, work, school, all that type of thing can really take a decline when you start chasing that improvement so much. That's not to say give up on all your dreams, but it is just to say that you have to be very wary of the danger of wanting that goal so badly. And the people that reach it are the ones that would hear that message and kind of go, yeah, but I don't care. And they would just go for it, and they'll probably reach it. But some people do just crash and burn. It happens a lot. So again, if you're going to go for the top rank and that's your goal, just be wary that you might not reach it and you might just burn out. It happens a lot. I used to get burnt out of the game a lot more. I used to play these huge 60-hour seasons and play like 8 hours the next one, 60. And I think recently, because I've almost toned down and I'm sort of on this consistent like 20 hour seasons, right? I haven't burnt out for over a year because I've just been sort of stagnating, just sort of playing the game here and there. Like, oh, I'll play this, I'll play that. And it's a bit of fun. So I think that has helped me to feel like a better person. I'm not trying to link the idea of being good at a game to bad person. I'm trying to link the idea that I think it can be a very unhealthy rabbit hole if you try to be the best at something. It is difficult. Everyone's trying to do it, and you have to somehow want it more than the next guy. And I think that's dangerous if you're not prepared for it. And so that's kind of the warning. Now, if you're sat in like gold, silver ranks, or even plat, improvement, I think is something that you can definitely chase and reasonably succeed. But I think when you're in those top echelons and you really pushing to be the best, I think there's a danger in there where I want to tell you don't need to be good. I think a lot of the enjoyment of the game comes from improvement, sure, but it also just comes from just playing the game. Your enjoyment should come from playing the game, and you should improve over time if that is what you want to do and you have goals and stuff like that. Getting good does not make the game more fun. I am telling you, it really doesn't. I still see the same stupid support or tank player on my team in Masters that I did in Gold. They're all stupid still. Everyone's dumber than you. It's just how the game feels constantly, right? You're never gonna escape. And so I think learn to have fun and improve over time. Improve where you want to improve. But seriously, you don't need to be good at Overwatch. You don't need to be good at anything. I think wanting to be the best is a very good thing. I think competitiveness is what drives us, and I'm not trying to steer away from that, and I'm trying to tell you, hey, don't be the best. Hey, don't aspire to anything. I'm not saying don't have goals. I'm saying don't let it consume you and don't let it become the only thing that's important to you. Everything else is important, and then getting really good at your hobby is next. That's typically how it goes, right? And this links to content creation and streaming as well. If you make everything around it, it can drive you kind of insane, and you want to avoid those burnouts, you want to avoid those lows, and you want to try to keep it good and healthy, okay? So, I'm not saying play the game less, I'm not saying try less, I'm just saying don't stress about being quote-unquote good. You don't have to be. No one's making you be good. If you want to, understandable, and go for it. But don't worry, you don't need to be the best. You don't. That's it. That's the end of the message. Thanks for watching. Peace and love.